Everybody loves Oreos and chocolate. I've been making Oreo truffles for over 2 years now. I was taught by my aunt while I was in Texas. Today I would like to show you how to make Oreo truffles, including the following: the materials needed and how to make them. First off, the materials you need are a large bowl, 2 baking sheets, some kind of crushing spoon, a regular spoon, 1 pound of cream cheese, 1 pound of chocolate, milk chocolate or white chocolate, and 1 package of Oreos. It can be any kind. First off, to make them, you need your large bowl. I like to put 1 row of Oreos in at a time. You also need to leave the cream inside the Oreos, and there's no need to take it out. I'm going to start by crushing them into fine, tiny pieces. It can get kind of loud, so make sure. It is kind of hard to crush them even when the cream is in the middle, so you really have to work at this. And this takes about 25 to a half an hour to crush a whole pack of Oreos. This is what it looks like when the whole package is crushed up together. After it's all crushed, you add your 1 pound of cream cheese. Preferably Philadelphia is probably the best one to use. You don't have to cut it up or put it in any smaller sizes. You can just put the whole bar in there all together. Once the cream cheese is in there, it will stick to the spoon and the Oreos, and it'll look all chunky, but it'll eventually smoothen out. Once the cream cheese is all mixed in and there's no more white in the mix, you roll them into tiny little balls about 1 inch, and you place them on one of your baking sheets. The best way to roll them, I think, is just by going like this. And it makes a tiny little ball. You don't need to put any cooking spray on the pan or anything because they're already sticky. Sometimes you can use like a candy scooper or an ice cream scooper just to make them a little bit. You can make them any size you want, but I like to make them like this because it makes more of them. This batch usually makes to about 30 to 40. And they're great for any kind of party. While the truffles are still hardening in the freezer, you can start melting your chocolate using a double boiler, which is water is on the bottom and a pan is on the top, which separates the heat, so it's used for more delicate things like chocolate and milk. If you don't have a double boiler, you can also use the microwave. There is microwave instructions on the chocolate package. You might want to use baker's chocolate. It's probably the best one to use. Once this is done melting, you can go and get your Oreos and start dipping them in chocolate. Once your Oreo truffles are hardened, and they're pretty hard like rocks, you can bring them in, and since your chocolate is melted, you can start putting them in there. The chocolate's hot. I leave the stove on so the chocolate stays melted, but you can use toothpicks or forks or a spoon. I drop them in and I use a spoon and I roll them up the side. Once you're done dipping them in chocolate, they will look like this. You then have to put them back in the freezer for 30 minutes to 1 hour. When they're done, you can pull them out, put them in a storage container, and then just refrigerate them. Once they're all done, after being in the freezer for an hour, you can take them out and put them in a storage container. After you do that, you put them in the refrigerator. Remember that they are a great dish to pass at a party, and they're wonderful for any chocolate or Oreo lover.